Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabansu, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And always today we got a very serious show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. Follow the channel on Instagram, same name as the channel, Dreamers Pro. And if you want today's full show, it's streaming on the Dreamers Pro podcast. We have pinned below. Anyway, let me get into this content here. So y'all know we got a lot of Kawhi Leonard haters out here. The new one is, oh, we shouldn't pay much attention to the Clippers right now. The reason we shouldn't talk about the Clippers is because they're going to lose in the first round. I don't know who they're going to be losing to. Or they're going to lose in the second round. So since they're going to lose in the future, no need to talk about them. But aren't the vast majority of the teams in the NBA that get into the playoffs, of the 16 teams, aren't the vast majority of them going to lose? As a matter of fact, isn't there going to be one winner? So why don't we just wait to the end of the season to start talking about teams? Utterly stupid, right? But nevertheless, people are still saying this because they just can't stop themselves from hating. The fact of the matter is Kawhi Leonard is proving a lot of his doubters wrong. He's having an MVP season. He's having an all-first defensive caliber season. And he's really putting a lot of his haters on notice, and he's playing all the games. He's played 45 out of the available 49 games this season Kawhi Leonard has played. So we can't use the, oh, he's not playing games argument anymore. We can't. Playing back-to-backs, all of that. And they're winning. The Clippers right now just had the best 30-game stretch in the history of that organization. And right now, the Clippers in the last 31 games are 26-5. You give me the team that's playing better than that, you won't be able to find one. But nevertheless, people are hating. Now, something surprised me yesterday. As you guys know, Keyshawn Johnson is an LA native. But more importantly, he's a staunch Lakers supporter. But what I noticed about Keyshawn is that he was being very, very fair to Kawhi Leonard yesterday on Undisputed when they were talking about Kawhi Leonard's MVP chances. And as someone that's a huge Lakers supporter, I was surprised to see that level of candor and, frankly, honesty from Keyshawn Johnson, because there was a segment during the show when him and his co-host, Richard Sherman, got into this very heated argument over Kawhi Leonard. And Richard Sherman was like, why does Kawhi even need to be in this conversation? And Keyshawn was like, because we put him in the conversation. Like, what are you talking about right now? And it got pretty heated. And Keyshawn wasn't letting Richard just get away with his stuff that he probably would have got away with Skip with. And I thought that was great television. But more importantly, I like the fact that he was being fair. So that's what we want to focus in on today. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select 2 or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting 2 entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit matchup up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And once again, once you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play this exchange for you in its entirety. Then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to what these 2 gentlemen had to say to each other yesterday.
Skip. I think that's tough. I don't think it's high at all. I think it's relatively low because he doesn't have the numbers. And you know how I am, Skip.
That's here we go again. Yep.
Regardless of the spot.
Yeah.
You got Jokic averaging 26, 12, and 9, I think. You got Embiid, he's hurt right now, but averaging like 30. You got Luka Doncic averaging 35, 10 and 9, or 9 and 10.
Yes.
Like, Skip, you're not going to 24, 4 and 6 is not going to get it done for the MVP. Giannis is averaging 31 and 11. You're not going to get MVP over those guys with 24, 4 and 6, regardless of what your team's doing. If they're number 1 in the West, I mean, it would be cool. It'd be a great story. Hey, they got a great team. They're doing great things, but the MVP of the league is probably one of these other guys that's carrying their team statistically and that's usually who it goes to. So I would think it goes to Giannis, Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, it could go to Luka, but, I don't think they're playing well enough right now for him to get it.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the MVP situation for Kawhi. The beginning. Today on this show. This is going to start the momentum to carry him into the MVP race to a whole nother level. And what I mean by that, though, Skip, is if they win the West, that means that they probably are going to be a top 4 in the league record-wise. They're going to be in the top 4 if you go Boston, Milwaukee, Minnesota, then the Clippers. I think that'll be that top 4. He plays on both ends of the floor, though. So when you start talking about outside of Giannis, the other guys that have the potential opportunity, Embiid's hurt. So he's going to lose.
He's out.
He's going to lose on that.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard has been known to do what? Rest, not play, load manage. Well, he's played 43 out of the 47 games this year. So that's the whole season to me. He's played the entire season thus far. Now when you start talking about the 24, 6, and 4, he's shooting 45% from 3. There's only that says that he ranks 4th to 5th in the league.
He's 4th,
Okay, at a 45% clip. It's pretty good.
I think it's pretty
It's
great.
sensational.
Yeah.
And the team is winning.
Yeah.
And so you get that eyeballs and you get that momentum going in this situation. So I think the odds for him to win it is pretty good. I don't think I understand what Rich is saying. Typically, you look at it, you go, guys,
absolutely,
he's averaging 30. Oh, my God.
You just do. Yeah.
But he's lights out, efficient across the board.
Yeah.
And when you're efficient across the board and you lights out, well, you can't give it to nobody in Boston. I mean,
you can give it to Giannis.
You could give it to Giannis. But like
31, 11, and 6.
But what we've always seen is people it's one of those deals, Skip, tired of giving things to the same people over in the NBA.
Yeah.
Tired of giving it to the same guys all the time.
Yeah.
Now Kawhi is, remember what I said, the Clippers are on to something, top 4 in the league record-wise.
Yeah.
And they've won 25 out of the last 30.
Yeah.
I understand the statistical side of the game.
Yeah.
Richard, you like that. Hey, there's no question about it. But when you start to think about, as I said to you, the train is just now being loaded, and it will eventually go down the track by the time the MVP race is finalized. It's just starting today. This is the first conversation that I can think of about Kawhi Leonard potentially having an outcome on the MVP race. Now, when you think about Giannis, he has amazing numbers. There's no question about it. Well, the coach got fired, okay? So that's going to ding him a little bit, plus the burnout going to ding him a little bit more.
Yep.
And Kawhi is continuing leading his team where people didn't ever think it was going to work. No. They always thought it was going to fall apart. He thought he wasn't going to be able to play 43 to 47 games. He would have probably played 20 games thus far this year. All of that is pluses for him.
Yep.
You have to factor that into the decision process as the voters start to cast their votes later on in the year. Yeah. Now, obviously,
again. Go ahead, sir.
No, go right ahead, sir.
I just don't. I mean, the only reason he's in the MVP conversation is because we're putting him in there and unnecessarily because his numbers don't
it's
even
not
put him in the conversation with him.
How can it be
unnecessarily? Because there's nothing that says that about his numbers. If you look at the MVPs, the previous MVPs, the numbers are there. You look at Joel Embiid's MVP season. He had 31 and 11. You look at Jokic's 26, 12. It's what I'm saying is, when you talked about Lamar Jackson's MVP candidacy, his team was dominant. They were the number 1 seed. They had the best record in the National Football League. It was far and away. They were obvious. So it's still, his numbers weren't there, but his team was the number 1 team. This isn't the number 1 team in the NBA. And so they're not even the number 1 team on their side of the conference. And
they're
so to put him in a conversation with guys averaging, he's 20th in points, though. That's what I'm saying. So you're talking about not the best team in the NBA, and he's not scoring the most. So if you said he was the best team in the NBA and he had these numbers, I would be like, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Not really, but we're talking about guys that are putting up massive numbers and helping their team win games to the degree that their records are better than the LA Clippers. And we're talking about.
The whole point is, should he be included? Not that he won. This is the same conversation we tried to have you have with us about Lamar. We didn't say at the beginning.
But why would he be included?
Because his efficiency on both ends of the floor, things that he's doing, the team is winning. 25 of the last 30, they're hot as fish grease. That's why. This is why. This is the same conversation in a different sport with a different talent. So why are we having this
conversation about SGA? Because team is number one in the West, having a much better season than Kawhi Leonard.
Because we selected Kawhi to have the conversation, Richard. That's why we're having it.
So what I'm saying.
So you heard the exchange there. First of all, I got to applaud Keyshawn Johnson. And shout out to him because Keyshawn, I just saw, has a show that he's doing with Matt Barnes and his son. I forgot the name of the show. I saw it. It just popped up on my YouTube page. And I was looking at this guy, the kid talking, like, this guy looks a lot like Keyshawn Johnson. Like, he looks a lot like him. And then I found out, okay, it was his son and all that. So that was pretty dope. Shout out to him. They doing it, he's doing his thing. But anyway, I was very, very surprised to see him take this position publicly. I was very, very surprised because usually what people do in the media is twerk it up, lie, and just go up there and say things that they know is not true. But in this case, for Keyshawn Johnson to be a staunch Lakers supporter, but to still be objective enough to say, listen, this guy's playing well. For what does it have to do with me being a Lakers supporter and this guy playing well? He's playing very, very well, and he deserves to be in the MVP conversation. And he was pushing back on Richard. And Richard, I don't know what his thing was. Because his only thing was, well, the numbers. And I'm like, well, Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs. Go pull up his numbers. And Kawhi Leonard has put up way better numbers than Steve Nash, I'm sorry to say. And his team is winning and most likely will win more than Steve Nash's team. Right? Most likely win more. So to me, I like the fact that he pushed back on him, but this is the hate that Kawhi Leonard is going to have to get, But what you're noticing now is that the media is being forced to talk about it because you can't ignore excellence. After a while, you can't ignore it. Otherwise, people stop taking you seriously because NBA fans are going to be like, okay, but you guys keep talking about teams that don't deserve to be talked about. This team is the hottest team in the NBA since December 1st. They're 25, 26, and 5 out of their last 31 games, and you're not talking about them? So you're telling me the best player on that team deserves no consideration to be in the MVP conversation when most of us wrote off that team after they got James Harden? Most of us don't even consider Russell Westbrook. But now what the haters are now saying is, oh, now they have this amazing big four. Really? Russell Westbrook is a big four now. Really? The James Harden that all of us were poo-pooing on, now all of a sudden, James Harden is this great player. Really? And I got to say this because it's something I'm concerned about. I'm thinking about. What if this was the Los Angeles Lakers in 2022 when they had acquired Russell Westbrook? What if they were the ones hot as a fish grease and LeBron was in Kawhi Leonard's position? Don't you think they would have been considering LeBron James for MVP conversation? Of course they would. Of course they would. But when it comes to Kawhi, oh no, let's not talk about them, man, because they're going to be first round exits, even though most teams in the NBA, when they get to the playoffs, those teams are all going to lose. But yeah, but I'm a hater, so I'll be really thinking I'll just be hating. So I got to say whatever comes to my mind. I'm glad that he pushed back, and I loved it. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about that exchange? And what do you think about Kawhi Leonard? Do you think he deserves to be in the MVP conversation? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.